You're listening to the new WCEG Network on WCEGTalkRadio.com. Watch us live on your smart TV on YouTube on WCEG Network. I'm Wardell Richardson, your host, right here for the next hour on WCEG The Hollywood of the South. We're your worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio. That's WCEG_talk_radio. And at WCEG Network. That's WCEG Network. Last but not least, the disclaimer. The topics and opinions are those of the show hosts and guests and not those of WCEG Network. Thank you for your continued support. I am Wardell Richardson, actor, producer, director, writer. You know, I do a multitude of different things, and I am happy to be here again for another day on WCEG The Hollywood of the South, where I have a wonderful, wonderful guest on the show. But before I get to her, I just want to make a few other announcements. First, people, I say this every show, and I feel like I have to say this continuously on every show. We are still in a pandemic. So please wear your mask. It's plain and simple. Protect yourself and protect other people. Some people don't know that they have it, and regardless if you have the vaccine or not, you still can transmit the virus. So please wear your mask. Just wear your mask. Protect yourself and protect other people. Secondly, if you have not yet been on Amazon Prime, check me out on Amazon Prime. I got several film projects on there. In fact, the 30-day rule is on there, which my guest who is on the show today played my wife in it. So I'm very excited to have her here today. But check me out, the 30-day rule. Check out Greed, Flesh, Addiction by Subtraction. All these movies are right on Amazon Prime, where you can, check me out, and then send me a message. Let me know you watched me, you checked me out, and let me know if you liked it or didn't like it. I like both sides. I'm not a person that, not able to accept criticism. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm still growing in this industry. If you see something, if you just love it, then say, hey, I love it. If you say, hey, I thought it could have been better, then hey, you thought it could have been better. It is what it is. So I appreciate all the support and everybody who follows me. With that being said, I want to introduce to you someone who I met here in Atlanta. She came to an audition that we had when I was working with another film company. And I cast her to play my wife in this film project. And that's where I met her. She's an incredible actress. She wound up moving out to LA and just blowing up. I'm seeing her on the big screen and everywhere. So I want to give a shout out and a welcome to Dominique Perry. What's going on?
Hi, Wardell. Hi, everyone.
How you doing, man? I'm glad that you are on set with us today.
Yes.
I know you are working right now. You're down in Florida working, but you still took the time out to do this interview, so I appreciate you.
Yes, of course. I'm in Miami right now, but of course I was going to do it.
So let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Where are you from? And give us a little bit of the background on how you wind up coming to Atlanta, starting your acting career.
Sure. So I'm from the wonderful city of Houston, Texas, Southern Belle. I have been acting since I can remember. I started out at a place called the Ensemble Theater, which is in downtown Houston. I did their Young Performers program from like 6 all the way up to 17. I did a lot of their main stage plays. They taught me singing, dancing, acting. I do it all. From there, I majored in theater at Prairie View A&M University, HBCU.
All right then.
Yes.
Big dog.
Oh, of course. Was a Black 5 majorette, everything for PV. And then after that, I went to Texas Southern University for a year. And what I wanted, because although Houston is a great place to live, it's a little bit behind on the television and film
Right.
portal. So I went on and I decided to move to Atlanta. So I gave Atlanta a try. I was living there for about 5-6 years before trying to give LA a try. And when I was in Atlanta, I did a lot of local films. I did films, of course, me and you worked together. So that was great. That was when I was cast in Get Hard while I was living in Atlanta. And then from there, I went on to give LA a try. I was only going to do LA for like pilot season because I was scared of LA to see if I can afford it. So, because you hear all these stories, but that's when I tried to give LA a try for pilot season, and I booked Insecure. So I've just been there ever since.
So let me ask you something, because that I did see you after. First, let's go back. Let's reel back, because I see you dancing a lot. So you mentioned that you when you went to school you learned dance. How much is dance involved in your life?
Oh, dance is a major part of my life. I think it's just as major as acting. Acting takes a little bit of a stepping stone because that's the bread and butter, and that's kind of usually longevity with acting. But I still try to dance. I haven't taken a dance class in a while, but I would love to open up some type of dance class once I get a bigger name for myself. I still try to dance and do different dance videos, do some choreography, just freestyling, because it's a big part of me. I love dancing. I love music. I love how it makes me feel, and I can't just kind of go without dance at all. Like I have to. I did jazz, tap, ballet, point, hip hop. I did precision with majorette and halftime. So I've always loved dance. It's just me, honestly.
Right, and because you have dance and you have that background, that's also an extra plus for you in the film world.
It is, because I'm always ready to and waiting for that opportunity where I get to dance in a film. That's why I'm trying to work on creating my own, so, but until then, until my own pops off, I've always wanted to dance in a film and be able to showcase that talent, because a lot of actors aren't really dancers, but then some of them are. So I was like, I'm not really trying to do the stage per se, because I know there in Broadway you can be able to do the singing and showcase dance, but I want to do that more in television and film. So I'm still waiting on that role where I get to showcase that.
It's gonna come. I definitely believe it's gonna come. Now I'm gonna tell you the shocking part when you moved to LA, because I remember when you had told me you was moving to LA and everything, and I went and watched Get Hard, because you didn't tell me I didn't know you were gonna be on. So I'm sitting there watching the movie and sitting right next to T.I.
Was me.
Was you? I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, I had to rewind it. I had to go back and watch it a couple times.
I know.
I said, Dominique, what? She went out there and just blew up.
I did. Well, Get Hard was when I was living in Atlanta. I had an agent in New Orleans, Dale Corral. Shout out to Terry. He was representing me, and he booked me. He got me the audition for Get Hard. I was actually only supposed to be an extra in Get Hard, which is really crazy that I end up having an audition to be an extra. I was like a featured extra. And during the audition, I had to twerk. They didn't want nothing else from me, just to twerk.
I remember that.
Okay, well, I do dance. I didn't know I was gonna have to do that type of dancing, but I do it for Will Ferrell. So, and Kevin Hart. So that's funny. Mainly Will Ferrell. I love Will. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. And they loved it. And I said, that role is mine. And I end up going to New Orleans, which is where it was filmed. And it was just so much fun. Will Ferrell is a real, like, genuine person.
And I so was going to ask you, how was it working with Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell was so genuine. He's very quiet. At least when he was on that production, he was very quiet. He didn't really show out until they yelled action. And I love that. I love that he said my name. Good morning, Dominique. He didn't say good morning, Shonda, or just good morning. Shonda was the character's name. He actually really personalized like his conversations with me. And I loved that about him. He was great. And they end up adding like the kiss and everything. It's funny because my mom was like, what if they make you kiss Will Ferrell? I say, Mom, I'm just an extra. Like, I ain't really got no lines like that. And I guess they love the role.
Man.
And his personality. So they were like, let's just add a line. Let's just add a kiss. I said, oh, wow. Okay.
But see, people don't understand. That's part of the acting world. See, people feel like when you do a featured extra role, that means you're not gonna be seen or barely get seen. But if they like you, your part can grow.
Yeah, you just never know. You never know. You know, so I'm learning a lot from that, and I learned from that. Like, yeah, the extra can get bumped up. I said, okay. Oh, so I'm not just dancing. So I have a little line here. I have a little kiss here. So it was great, and people still remember me from that, even though that role was so small. It was so big to a lot of people.
Thing. You did
Thank
your thing.
You, Wardell. It was so big to a lot of people, and I'm still remembered by it. You know, it's amazing, and they still show it on TV. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I was young, so it was fun. And for my first major film to be with such a big star, that was a blessing. That was such a blessing.
I give you kudos because you did your thing. Like you did your thing. You stood out, and that's why people can remember you. Because what people don't understand, you know, you can get a small role, but you are in control of how big that role can get. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And you know, you don't want to do too much to get seen. You kind of want to do just enough. But I think that if you're yourself, and depending on who the director is and the energy that's surrounded around the production, if they like you, man, the sky is the limit on what they can add. And then that one line you can be the next Samuel Jackson, or you know what I'm saying? So it was beautiful. I loved it.
And how was Kevin Hart?
Oh, he was funny. He was funny. He was definitely good. I had met Kevin before through a mutual friend, and he's always kind of been a stand-up guy, no lie. He's always been really, really sweet, really genuine. And I liked him. He was the one that was more of a jokester on set, keeping everybody laughing and stuff, while Will was a little bit quiet. But Will has been in the industry so long, he's like another one. You know, but that was when Kevin was really, really getting off his feet, and he was really, really sweet. He was a jokester throughout the whole set. I remember that.
All right. And then, so I have to say, you did your thing once again, because I saw that and I had no idea I was going to be seeing you. And when I saw you, I almost fell out the chair. I said, what? That's
my friends, a lot of friends that didn't even know, they still would say that. Like, I was in the theater with my girlfriend and I saw you, and my girlfriend got mad at me. I said, I'm like, we just friends, you know, knowing people since elementary school and stuff. They didn't know what I was doing, and they just see me on the movie, the big screen. They like, oh my God. It was amazing. I get that reaction all the time with Get Hard. Like, I didn't even know you was on there. But that was before social media really popped off. So you wasn't really able to broadcast, you know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff that you were doing. Like now, you know what I'm saying? You can promote it a lot better now. But back then, I wasn't, you know, social media wasn't the it thing too much.
Gotcha. And then moving on forward, you pick up a role on Insecure, and I'm just like, Dominique is out here killing it in Cali.
Oh, I was trying. You know, it seems like that, but it was a lot of struggle that I was going through. The production for Insecure didn't even know that when I booked it, I was working at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles when I booked Insecure. Like, I was, you know, I was like struggling. You know, the industry can be very weird and very up and down. But to your peers and people back home, they think, man, you're really on the up and up. But really, it's like going like this, you know. So during that time of Insecure, it was kind of like going like this. But it definitely was a light at the end of the tunnel when I booked Insecure. It was a lot going on. But when I booked it, I said, oh, okay, this is cool. So but a lot of people thought like, wow, it was a big deal. It was mind blowing when I booked it.
Oh, you know, the first thing, right? And see, the first thing is, you know, you going against a whole, you know, and I say this all the time. In Atlanta, you know, everybody works and they act part-time, but in LA, everybody act and they work part-time. So you going up against a squad of people, you know, for these roles. And the fact that you land in these roles shows how well of an actress you are and how much you stand out to the casting directors. So
Yes, definitely.
what is that like? So, because one of the reasons I do my show is because I want people to get in your seat and understand how it is to be in
Please.
this world,
Yeah.
because I was going to ask you, and you kind of touched on it, like what was one of your most challenging parts about being in this industry, especially moving out to LA? What's been like the biggest challenge for you?
I think the biggest challenge is, oh, I'm sorry, guys, my phone fell.
Sorry.
I think the biggest challenge for me, even up until recently, was trying to compare yourself to other actors that are somehow ahead of you, trying to stay ahead, trying to, as a woman, try to keep your youth, maintain your look, maintain your body. It's just a lot of stress. And then me being a mother now, it's just been a
Right.
lot of, when is it going to be my time for it to hit, the constant rejection. I think the main thing is the rejection. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of fellow actors could understand where I'm coming from with that, because the
Absolutely.
rejection is at an all-time high, and it'll only take one yes, but sometimes you're like, well, when is that yes going to happen? Until then, the rent is due and I'm struggling, constantly getting older, and you don't
Right.
understand when is it going to happen for you. And I think that was my main thing with this industry, and it's a still
Yeah.
constant issue with this industry on when you're going to get that yes, you know what I'm saying, and the constant rejection, because then it'll make
Right.
you start feeling like, is it me? Am I in the right frame? Am I in the right line of business?
Right.
You have so many people, but you have so many people depending on you back home, and so many
Yeah.
people wanting to see you win. One thing that I will say, this is what kept me going. There was during homecoming at Prairie View, about a
Okay.
year ago, and I went to a lounge with a friend of mine, and I saw a classmate of mine from Prairie View, and they always think, you're doing good, you're in LA. And he was just
Right.
talking to me. He's like, how you doing out there? I was like, I'm doing good. It be a lot. It be hard, trying to, be up against the competition and stuff. And he was like,
Right.
he looked at me and you said, don't you worry. When you go in those rooms, you taking us with you. You taking PV with you. You taking Houston with you. When he said that, I started crying immediately, because I didn't know I meant that much to my people back home. I had no
Right.
clue. And to hear him
Yeah.
say, stop, don't worry, no need to be nervous, you taking us with you. It did a lot for me, and it allowed me to say I have to keep going. But I think the most
Right.
hurtful thing has been the rejection, because it'll make you question yourself as an actor, and question your ability and your talent when you are supposed to be right where you're supposed to be. It just
Right.
takes a lot. We got to water that seed.
Yeah.
So that's been the whole thing, is just a waiting game, and watching your fellow peers, because I do have a lot of
Yeah.
peers that's on television, watching
Mm-hmm.
them rise, watching certain people that never even acted before, just steady on the come up, and you're just kind of
Yeah.
like riding the wave a little bit, and it's like, man, when is it going to be your turn? But I think I've just been able to depend on faith more than ever, especially recently.
Yeah.
And I've been able to manifest and thanking God for what's to come for me instead of what has been for me. I'm already
Right.
thanking him for the big things that's going to come into fruition. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's just kind of what's been keeping me afloat. But definitely the rejection. I think a lot of actors, producers, anybody in the
Yeah.
industry where you got to depend on faith,
Yeah.
and
I went
it's a lot,
through
and there's
that.
no book. Yeah.
I went through
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And what people don't understand, it's a whole, you see stuff on TV, but it's a lot that goes on to get to that point where we're on TV.
Most definitely.
The auditions, and to getting the script, and to facing the casting directors, and to not knowing what they're thinking when you walk out the room.
Most definitely. Most
and
definitely. It's a
and
lot.
sometimes you get the call, sometimes you don't. And you just can't worry about it. You just got to keep going. That's just the way it is. And it's hard, because I mean, I've been on set, I've been in auditions, and they call me back, and I go again. They call me back a third time, and I'm like, well, they must love me, but then they still pick somebody else.
And they do. And a lot of times,
Right.
And this is what I want actors to know, because I had to understand this as well. It is not you. A lot of times it is not you. There are sometimes, yes, they're focusing on the talent. So yes, there may have been someone that added a little bit something or something. And then there may be times where you have to just work on your chops a little bit more. But in this business, I have learned that majority % of the time, it is not you. It is not your ability. It is, you were too short. You weren't short enough.
Too
tall.
You
were too tall. Your skin color, your hair, the hair length. You may not be as tall as the main actor. You may be too tall, and it may be an intimidation thing there. I just want people to understand that a lot of times it's not about your ability and your talent. So don't look at yourself and think, I'm in the wrong line of work, I'm horrible, that's why I'm not booking anything. Absolutely not. A lot of times people will literally book on their look. That's what they're looking for this particular role. You know what I'm saying?
That happens a lot.
It has nothing to do with your talent. That person could be a little bit less talented, but they have the look. So you have to understand, what's for you is going to be for you. And that's what I have to understand. What's for you and has your name on it, it has your name on it. It doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, it has nothing to do with talent. And I think a lot of actors should understand that and hear that coming from a fellow actress, because that's a lot of times what I was thinking as well. And I hear it from my peers.
Right.
You know?
Now, if you had an opportunity to play a role that you haven't played before, what is the role that you think about? You like, if I could get this one particular role, I just want to play this role. What role would that be?
Yeah. You know, I've never really had a particular role. I do want to play something with action, where I could definitely show my physical ability. I love like a role like Chicago. I know you remember that movie Chicago, where they were dancing and they were singing and things like that. More like a musical, but it's a film. I think stuff like that where I get to showcase more, and it'll challenge me. Stuff like that. I think that's what I would want to play. Like, and something like really fun, hip, you know, for us, made by us. I'm just very broad with the roles, but if I had to pick, I think it would be something that'll show my physical ability. Something like an action movie. That'd be pretty fun, because that's challenging. I've never done anything like that before. So something like that'd be cool.
I think you would kill something like that, actually.
Yeah, me too. I think so. Yeah, because I do the comedy. I love comedy. I love to do comedy, but I can also do a romantic comedy as well. I can also do a drama, you know, stuff like that. I want to get into more dramas. That would be great. But I think something physical would be great, like a Catwoman. Oh God, that's so sexy. That's so sexy.
A Catwoman, like what Halle Berry did.
A lot of women want to be there. A lot of women would love to be like, put on a little nice little suit, action figure suit, and just rule. You know, I would love to do something like that. That would be really challenging for me. Like, my mother would be proud to be like, yes, you got a role that's challenging, girl. Yes, indeed.
I think that'll be good for you. I think that'll be good. I do.
Yes, indeed. I would love that. That would be great.
So, do you feel like as a woman, it's much harder for women in the industry than it is for men?
I used to think that, but women are winning so much right now in this industry that I don't think it's as hard anymore. But I do feel like men rule in a lot of aspects of life. So I think that y'all have the little bit of gift of gab more, and can make the connections more and network more than sometimes a woman, because we have that stigma. And a lot of times we can be networking and a guy think that we're flirting or things of that nature. So it's very hard to kind of do the equal, you know, that type of thing, that lane. I definitely think the men, yeah, they kind of have it a little higher. I even have found out, as far as pay goes, you know, things like that, the men have it a little better, which is weird for me. I didn't even know that. So I think definitely the guys have it they have a little bit of advantage, but I do think that it is women directors, it's women creators, that are coming out now, Black women such as Issa, who I'm working for now, and have in the past, that are dominating, man, and they are putting other women in a position to win. So
Right. And
I don't know. It's becoming neck and neck.
I was going to say that because I saw an interview, and I don't want to get the women's name wrong, so I'm gonna have to look it up. But I'm just going to say that I saw this interview where there was a famous Black woman who was doing this movie and opposite a famous white woman, but they was getting paid differently. And the white woman went and told them that y'all gonna pay her the same amount that I'm getting paid, because they wasn't paying her the same, and they had both had the same level of a role.
That's beautiful.
And yeah, and they went and they raised her pay to equal hers. And I said, good. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of times it's that too with race as well. With the whole pay and, you know, equality, that type of thing. It's a little different with white women and white men, Black men, that type of thing. But most definitely it's out there. I commend whoever that actress was to stand up for this Black woman and say, listen, she's putting in just as much work.
Exactly.
She needs to get paid equally. I mean, that's just fair is fair. We're all trying to survive out here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And this industry is hard. Now, you know, a lot of people think it's easy. It's hard. It's a cutthroat industry as well. You know, you could have, just because you have a role don't necessarily mean you have that role. Like, you can get cut.
Right.
They can put somebody else in that spot.
Yeah, you can get cut at the table read. That has definitely happened to a friend of mine. She thought she had it, posted it, broadcasted it, everything, promoted it, and, you know, they let her go at the table read. It's very cutthroat, and they can let you go over somebody that got a bigger following than you on social media. They just want those ratings, you know. But it just brings me back to what I said about never look at yourself that it's you. A lot of times it's a lot of executive decisions that happen behind the scenes that has nothing to do with you. It's just they want that person because they'll promote it better, or, you know, higher ratings because they have a higher stature. Like it's literally just that. So it can be very cutthroat, and it's all about a lot of times politics and who you know.
Yeah, and literally, like you said, you know, it's definitely about how well you are on social media, your following, all that stuff matters. And, you know, like you said, they do cast people who have a bigger following than other people just because their following is bigger on certain things.
I think that when you're looking at a huge films that are really fixated on talent and just ability to carry that role. I don't care who you are, can you carry that role? I think they really don't worry about your following and the who's who. I think they go after what's best. Let's just cut straight to the chase. But then there are other productions that's kind of more fun and lively, and they just kind of, you know, depending on the network, they just want who's gonna promote it better and bring the ratings in. And at that point, they don't really care about that person's ability. It's more so who's gonna get the show seen. So it's different on the different productions that you're working with.
So if you had a favorite actor or actress that you wanted to work with, who would that be?
Oh, well, I've always wanted to work with Tashina Arnold. I know it's weird because everybody always say we look alike. I always wanted to work with her.
From Martin.
She plays my mom or my aunt or something, sister, whatever. Of course, I love Taraji, and I love Meryl Streep. I definitely want to work with actresses like that are going to challenge me and make me be like, man, what's my lines? Because I need to learn them a year before I even get on set, because they're not playing with me. So actresses like that, I think, would be very powerful, very powerful. I love Meryl Streep. You know, I love Halle Berry. I love Taraji. I love women like that. Regina Hall, Regina King. I really like those actresses. Those women, they are dominating, and they'll bring it out of you. You know, they're not going to keep you at your comfort zone, you know?
Right. And I think that's what we need as actors. Anytime, you know, I'm filming a movie and stuff, I love to play opposite people who are just strong, you know, because I can draw from them. And it pushes me to be even go to push that fold even more.
Exactly. They push you. They definitely push you.
Yeah.
And you want to be around people like that push you instead of being
Absolutely.
around, certain people that are just going to keep you at your comfort zone. That type of stuff is fun for certain things, but you always want to get better.
Right.
So I always want to work with people that's going to make me better. And then it'll make the scene better. It'll make the quality of the film or show better to me.
Right.
When both of y'all are, okay, you're bringing it out of me. Okay.
And now you have, like you mentioned earlier, a daughter. And how is it juggling taking care of your daughter and doing, acting and stuff, going on set? How is that?
It's great. It's great. Being a mother, it's amazing. I'm a single mom to a 3-year-old. She's running, she's talking, she's screaming, she's crying. And sometimes it can be like, oh my God. But I wouldn't have had it any other way. I've taken her to auditions with me since she was in the crib, like a little baby. I've had her come in auditions with me and had people outside. Could you watch her? Like have the casting director watch her while I like do my scene, and they don't mind. So it's been a blessing. She's really helped me grow. She's helped me build my faith more.
That's what kids do.
Because going through that, even going through my pregnancy and things like that, and the trials and tribulations that happen during that as a woman, your body changing, your mind kind of, going through a lot of postpartum. It took a lot out of me, but man, she is my best friend. I wouldn't have had it any other way. I wouldn't have changed it for the world. I think about her every day. She keeps me going,
Right.
She does. And it's just been a blessing. My main thing is just making sure she'll be okay. That's my only thing. I gotta make it. I gotta make sure my child is okay. Or my future children. I have to make sure they're good. So she brings that best out of me. I needed that.
Yeah. Do you ever think about getting her into movies and film, modeling or anything?
I think that'll be great. I have thought about that. But definitely when she gets older, it'll be if she wants to do it. Because, like we talked about, with this being such a cutthroat industry, you don't want your children going through it. And like I always say, maybe I'm paving the way so that way it won't be as hard for her. So if that's the case, I would love to get her in something now that she's young and 3 and really don't know. But as she gets older, that's going to be her decision. If she wants to be a veterinarian, girl, let's do it. Because it's a blueprint to that.
It is.
School, then you go. I like that. But it's whatever she wants to do. But I definitely have thought about getting her in something now.
Okay. Have you thought about, do you do anything behind the scenes? Do you do any producing, directing? Have you thought about getting into that at all?
Most definitely. I have created a show. It's titled BU. It's fixated around Brooke University, which is a fictional school, HBCU. So it's basically a HBCU show. I created that, co-wrote that with a friend of mine, Yvette Wren.
Okay.
And then recently I created a feature with my good friend and fellow actress, Brittany Hall. It's a comedy. So I wrote the script. So I definitely am trying to get into the creator aspect of things. And I'm trying to create my own lane. I don't want to wait anymore. I don't want to wait anymore for someone to put me on their show as their lead. I want to create my own lane, until that happens. Because I try to take a page out of a lot of creators' books. They created their own lane and then now they're who they are. So I definitely want to get into more of the producing, not so much directing yet, but definitely creating, because I have really dope ideas. And the film that Brittany and I are doing, we're trying to really, really work on that right now. It's hard, but we're trying.
I think it's always great to create your own lane because, like you said, you don't have to worry about nobody but yourself and putting yourself on that big screen and making a way for you. Tyler Perry mastered that thing, and look where he is now, billionaire.
Exactly. Exactly. It can happen. I think it's harder and it's a slower process when you're doing it on your own instead. When you're the actress and you kind of like, the next thing is you on production, because usually they add the actresses last. You don't know all of the year or whatever that they've taken to get the production together. So me being a part of this creator's role, it's like, man, it's finding someone to trust you enough to even want to direct
Right.
your film. Who are you? Why would I want to direct it right then and there? Why do I want to produce this? Who are you? So I'm in that level of things, which makes it
Funding.
hard. People really don't want to believe. Yeah, why do I fund? Who are you? You know,
Right.
so it's getting people to believe in your project when you are at a lower level. Then that's the hard part for me.
How important
But
is it networking to you? Networking
how
is a
important is
major
networking?
part. Yes.
It is a major part. It definitely is, and that's why the productions that I'm doing now, that I'm blessed to do now, that are on a higher level, I'm looking at these people, I'm looking at how they work, and I'm trying to meet these people because, although they only work on major things, you just never know the mark that you'll leave on people. That's why I always try to have a good personality on set, and I always try to learn what cameras are they using, or, I'm always trying to network with them and see, like, hey, you be willing to direct this or a feature or anything like that. I'm always trying to do that, and I'm learning how to network more, because just being
Right.
an actress is just kind of like, I'm cast, I'm on set. But now that I'm trying to create my own, networking is important because I need those resources for when I'm doing my own thing.
Right. Now, I asked you before, what was the most challenging thing that you had to deal with? What was the most fulfilling thing you dealt with since you've been acting?
Oh, actually seeing that star and touching it. Actually getting cast on a huge show and watching you go from season 1, like on Insecure, watching
Right.
you be cast on a season 1 when it's just a little egg and it just grows, and being able to watch this intensify and magnify. Like, I was literally, after season 1 of Insecure, I saw that they were having debates on the love triangle of me and of Tasha's character,
Right.
Issa, and Lawrence, of
Right.
our characters. They were having debates in college about that, and having watch parties, and just watching
Yeah.
you be a part of, something that the world is loving on that much
Right.
is so fulfilling. And being on red carpets and people actually knowing your name and wanting you on there, and um, wanting them to be a part, wanting you to be a part of their projects. You know what I'm saying? It's just been an
Yeah.
amazing thing that I do love. And that's the reason why a lot of times when you've touched that star, it's harder. It's harder for people that's touched it, that go rock bottom, because we've actually touched it and we know what it feels
Exactly.
like. So to go kind
Right.
of right back to where we left off, it's harder than most that's never even touched that star. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you get a taste of the food and then you get it taken away from you, while
Right.
you're still
Right.
hungry. So it's been great that watching people love what you do, watching people still come up to me on projects that I've done recently up until Insecure, Get Hard,
Yeah.
taking pictures with me in the bathroom at the club and people still recognizing me. It has been uh, it's been so fulfilling. I love it so much. I never get tired to take pictures with people. I'll never get tired. I love it because I live to do this,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
having that support, I was gonna ask you, having that support, how important is it for you to have your family and friends,
Oh, yeah.
behind you the whole time, just to sit there and to see them having bets over your character and
Oh,
trying
yeah.
and being having parties, for over
Oh,
your
yeah.
scenes and stuff. Like, how important is that support to keep you going in the industry?
I think it's very important because, like I said, there's so much up and down with this business. And
Yeah.
because it's so much rejection, you need people to lean on. You need family to lean on. If you have it, a lot of people don't have family. And that's when your extended family come. You need those friends. You don't always have to have a family. A lot of people don't have family, that a lot of people family are deceased and things of that nature. So it's still good to have that extended family, to have that village, to have that circle. For me, being blessed to have my family, my father being deceased, but to have my mom, my sister, my cousins, my grandmother support me and encourage me. My mom will come all the way from Houston and fly to LA just to watch my daughter so I can go film. You know,
Oh wow, that's huge.
It's huge. It's beautiful, and I can call her if I didn't get the role. I can cry. She can pray for me. That's a beautiful thing. I have my sister right there. That's my ride or die, and will encourage me and things like that. You know, she's able to watch my daughter right now. She's able to watch Zen while I'm out here in Miami filming. I need that type of stuff. So that way I'm comfortable to know that she's with family. So now I can work freely. I don't have that in my mind, you know what I'm saying, of what's going on. So I think just to have a village, period, whether they're related to you or not, is important. It's so important because it's hard to do all of this on your own and keep all of this in your mind. You'll go crazy. You'll go crazy.
Yeah, and that support, when they support you, when they're showing that support, they're showing that they believe in you. You know,
exactly, and it's keeping you going because these people aren't doing this for nothing. I can't just stop. My mom going back and forth to Los Angeles, she'll be like, "Girl, and you gonna quit for what? I didn't do all of that for nothing." So it's and all of the classes that you take, you know, you got to keep it going because it is a lot of people that believes in you. You know, whether it's back home or where you at right now, it's important to have that. You know.
Right. And being in California, because you know, you say you go back and forth from Cali to Houston. Cali is a whole nother world, you know, in itself. And so to be able to get the roles that you got living in LA and stuff, I have to give you much respect and props for that, because I know a lot of people who done went out there and came right back to Atlanta because they couldn't deal with it. They couldn't handle it. And it takes a special kind of person to have that type of passion and that type of, you know, strength to just push forward in that industry out in LA, because it's just different. You know, it's totally different.
It is. And for me, I didn't have a comfort zone job. And that's no offense to anybody, because I think that you always should have something, especially if you have a lot of responsibilities. But I've only done acting. I've never done anything else. I've waitressed, of course. I've tried to have regular jobs. They won't hire me. Why? Because I've done nothing but acting. So acting on a business resume, they're like, what is this? No. So because I've been in entertainment my entire life, I don't know what else to do. I had a friend that's in New York, and even recently, I had lost out on a huge role that could have changed my entire life. And I lost out on it, and I was just crying. That one really took a lot out of me, because I was like, man, all of this. And he was like, what you gonna do? If you give up, what you gonna do? And I was like, I don't know exactly. So what are you doing? So I have to keep that mindset and keep me going. And a lot of times what helps me too is I'll go back to Houston. I'll go back to Houston for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then re-up and get that Southern healing. And then I'll come back to LA, you know, and be ready just for whatever. With COVID, luckily, a lot of stuff is digital now. I mean, video, you know, so I can be in Houston and do an audition tape, you know, because a lot of things is virtual, is what I was trying to say. A lot of things is virtual now. So that's what's been keeping me going, is I don't have anything to fall back on. And that's the honest to God truth. So it's like it's this or nothing, literally nothing. So that's what's been like, I gotta keep going.
That's something that I wanted to touch on too, how much it's changed because of COVID, especially in LA, because I know the governor out in LA, he's pretty hardcore about, you know, things out in LA. So how is it being out in LA and dealing with the whole COVID situation? Because I know that they're getting ready to pass a law out there that you have to be vaccinated to go into certain places and stuff. I was reading that on the news somewhere. How different has it been in the acting world for you since COVID has hit?
The only difference that it's been, now that I've worked on a set since COVID has happened recently and now is just the restrictions of masking up. Nowadays, when you do your auditions, they do ask you in the audition, could you state if you're vaccinated, if you're not, you know, that type of thing. But nothing has really changed as far as production or anything. It's very hard for the, you know, the social distancing to happen when you're filming.
Right.
However, they are very strict on your vaccination status and getting tested like every 2 days. Like every 2 to 3 days, you have to get tested. That's been the only difference. The productions have been the same. It's just they are on a strict thing of making sure you're tested, making sure everything is good, making sure everybody's clear, making sure if you're not vaccinated, you're even if you are vaccinated, we have to get tested. So that's been the only difference with me is that type of change.
Okay, because I know that for a lot, and that vaccination is becoming very important. They do ask you that, just like they say, "Are you vaccinated?" And I believe in some cases, if you're not vaccinated, you don't get the role. So, you know,
there are certain productions that are very strict on that, and they only want a vaccinated crew, vaccinated cast, that type of thing. There are productions out there that are like that, and I don't know their personal reasons, but for me, it's kind of like they don't want to be liable. You know, I don't know. You know, so they just want to make sure everybody's safe and nobody, you know, is endangered while they're, you know, doing their production. I understand it. But I also think it's fair too to have vaccinated, just make sure everybody's clean, make sure everybody's positive, and just keeping the area clean. I think it's fine.
Yeah. And I think it helps out with you know, definitely, like you said, keeping people safe, and you know, because it's getting to be like it's the new norm now. You know, it's the new norm.
Like it seems like it. I have hope that things are going to go back to normal at least a little bit. Now that the vaccinations and more people are getting vaccinated, and if you're not, you're just staying healthy on your vitamins, just making sure everybody's clear and social distancing. But I feel like I just have hope that things will go back to normal. We will be in a you don't have to wear a mask type situation, and things could be fine. Things won't have to constantly get canceled. You know, I have hope. I'm not going to process that it is the new thing now that you have to have a mask the rest of your life. I think that it should be like if it's your choice. Once everything is calmed down and they found a way to make sure everybody's protected. However, no, I'm not going to accept it. I'm not going to accept it. I'm praying that things can go back to normal. They are a little bit, though, just a little bit.
Just a little bit, just a little bit. I saw
compared to how it was during lockdown. You know, things are going back.
Yeah, they're going back. I think, you know, a lot of people talk about Atlanta because Atlanta was one of those states that never really shut down. They shut down, but they opened up pretty quick. And
Texas too.
Right. Yeah. And so I think that, you know, it kind of make you very skeptical of, you know, what's really going on. But, you know, I believe that right now wearing a mask is necessary. I believe, you know, protecting yourself and making sure somebody else doesn't get infected is necessary. Not taking it home to your kids or your grandmother or whoever who may be having illnesses or taking medicines or whatever, not transmitting it to them. So I think it's definitely something very important to do. So we almost done with this show, Dominique. I mean, you are an awesome person to interview. You gave a lot of great information.
Thank you. Let me tell you, I'm always willing to share my thoughts and beliefs because I'm always trying to, whenever I get to that certain level, because it will happen, I want to do a lot of panels or something where I'm encouraging a lot of fellow actresses coming up and actors coming up. Anybody in the entertainment industry coming up. because we need that. We're
Yes,
feeling very alone. And a lot of times you can't talk to a lot of people that don't understand it. I just kind of want to create some kind of safe space where actors could hear other stories from successful actors and people trying to really understand you are not alone. We are all going through this. Even people that you see on TV, when they are not doing that production or it's canceled or that production's done, they go through it too. So I'm all up for helping and inspiring anybody that I can.
And I think that's huge, because we do need that, which is why I made this platform here, you know, to interview you, and to interview people. I love giving people a platform where they can talk about themselves and promote themselves and give their experiences in the industry and what they go through, because everybody has a different journey, and it takes them different places. Your journey is your journey, and you know, I've seen you from my point of view, from you being from here in Atlanta and going to LA. I've just seen you just grow and explode into the scene and just blossom. So I have to say congratulations to you. You're doing your thing, man. You're doing your thing.
That means so much to me. Thank you, Wardell, especially coming from you. Yeah. We've been rocking for years. So
yes, we have. We've been rocking a long time. A long time. And I love to catch up with you and chat with you and stuff and see what you got going on, because and I like when I see you, you know, I always shoot you a message on that. Hey, I just saw you on such and such, you know. I think I love doing that. I love seeing my friends and my people just grow and prosper and make their dreams come true. It just means a lot to me. You know, I'm just like, man, you know, I see several people on social media and stuff. They just doing their thing, and I'm so proud of them. You know, they all been working hard. Everybody's been working hard, and you know, when it's your time, it's your time.
Yeah,
that's just the
way
it is.
It's your time, and a lot of times we try to rush it. But I've learned now the practice of just thanking him. Thank God for what you haven't seen yet, but you know that it's coming. I feel like if you just do that, that's going to help this right here. Instead of wondering when, just thank him, because it's already happening. It's already coming.
Absolutely. So if you had one piece of advice you would give anybody who is listening, what would that be?
Stay in the race. Just stay in it. And I know it's so cliche just to say don't give up, but literally do not. I know that it can be hard. But please do not give up, because if you do, it's kind of like now you're doing something that you don't want to, and you never got a chance to reach that star that you've been wanting to reach. And this is for any type of career that you want. Just stay in the race. Nothing, I just don't feel like anything that you have to depend on faith for comes easy. And I feel like you're gonna stand the test of time. You know what I'm saying? But I just think, like Steve Harvey said, a flower has to go through some dirt before you start even seeing it grow. Like, it has to go in there. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think not giving up and staying in the race, because that's what I tell myself right now. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's the best thing. The best thing.
Yeah, and it is. It's absolutely the best thing. And I always tell people,
don't be so hard on yourself. Also,
don't
be so hard on yourself. Believe in yourself, and don't be so hard on yourself. You're beautiful. You're talented, and don't compare yourself to other people on social media. This is your life.
Yep.
Live it your way. Stop comparing yourself to people on social media. That's what they're doing, and you never know what they're really going through, because they only posting the good stuff. So stay in the race, stay in your lane, and focus on you, and do not compare, because that's where that can be your downfall. That's my major thing of advice as well, because I think a lot of us do that.
Oh yeah, we do. How can people follow you on social media? What's your social media handles?
Yes, my social media, you can follow me on Instagram. DomiNque P is the name. DomiNqueP, no extra I. And the same thing for Twitter.
Okay. And Dominique, you are an awesome person. You know, like you said, we've been riding for a very long time. I've been wanting to get you on here. I know you've been doing your thing. I'm very, very proud of you. I am happy for
Thank
you.
you.
And you know, we keep up with each other. So
Yes. Thank you,
like
Wardell.
congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And everything you have going on. And of course, you know, I got some things going on, so I'm gonna have to get you out here in Atlanta. You know,
Hey,
for
just
sure.
let me know. Let me know. We can work some stuff out.
For sure.
Always
Gotta
trying to
have
come back to the A.
it. And a lot of people watch the 30-day rule that we did, and I get a lot
Oh
of feedback
yeah.
from that.
Oh
I get a
good.
lot
Yeah,
of feedback
I
from
saw
that.
that too. Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of people have watched it. They're like, I saw you in this movie, 30-day rule or something. I said, oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Haven't
get
heard
a lot of
nothing
people.
bad. So
They say, and people tell me, they're like, "Hey, ain't that the girl from Insecure?" I be like, "Yeah, that's her."
yeah,
So you definitely have
yeah.
made a household name being on Insecure
Yes,
and
yes,
being noticed on Die Hard.
yes. Hopefully
On Get Hard.
people will actually, no, I know what you mean. Hopefully people will
Yeah,
actually know my name, pretty soon. So yeah, it's a blessing.
they gonna know you.
But
They
yes,
gonna know
I'm
you.
so glad to be a part of the show. Thank you guys so much for having me. This
No
was a
doubt,
very good
man.
thing. I pray and manifest that this grows, more followers, more subscribers, or however it works. I just want your audience to grow. And I just thank y'all for having me on here.
No doubt. Thank you so much. And I know you down there on set, and you done made time for me. So I
Yes.
feel I'm in the cloud. I'm like, well, she still made time to come on my show. So I'm
Come on now. And I'm glad it was a day that we weren't even filming today. It's a beautiful thing. It
oh, okay,
all worked out.
awesome. Yep, it
Yes,
all worked out. It was meant to be.
Yes. Thank you.
So thank you. God bless. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, the wonderful Dominique Perry from the hit show Insecure, from her part in Get Hard. You know what I'm saying? She's
oh,
been doing her thing. And make sure y'all go check out the 30-day rule. If you have not checked it out, go check out the 30-day rule. It's a romantic comedy. Dominique played my wife in it. We did our thing in that. It was awesome. It was pretty funny. It was very, very
yep.
funny. I get a lot of people that talk about how fun it was because you played a really, really good. The way you made your character, I can't even. I don't want to give it
Oh yes, don't give it away. That was fun. I
away.
had so much fun.
That was awesome. So thank you once again for coming on the show, ladies and gentlemen. My
No
name is
problem.
Wardell Richardson with WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South State. I will see you in a couple of weeks. My next guest, Justin Pogue, who is a filmmaker here in Atlanta, and he will be filming Night, my TV series that'll be coming out. That we're going to be working on here pretty soon. So I want to thank you guys for being watching WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South. This is something I really care about. I love, bringing people on so that y'all can see the journeys they go through. Actresses from every aspect of film, writers, um, filmmakers, sound guy, the light guy. It's so much stuff that goes into making a movie that a lot of people don't understand, and it's not an easy thing to do. It's definitely a lot of principles to it, a lot of aspects to it. Not to mention, after you shoot all that, now we got to get edited. So it's just so much to it, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you again in a couple of weeks. This is Wardell Richardson signing out right here on WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South.